Stage 30 clear, 2 left to go, and fewer lives than I would like. But I don't think this level is the most terrible level. Last one's kind of hard. It's an auto-scroller, but I think we will manage. Maybe, just maybe, I will get that achievement for beating the game with 1 life left. But I would rather not chance it if at all possible. Yeah, I'm kind of recording this random game in part because school has just been kind of overwhelming lately, and that tends to be one of my factors for recording a Let's Play. And I just, because of the whole auto-saving thing that Sonic Adventure has, I wasn't really feeling like recording that. I already recorded some footage that I'm going to have to do post-commentary for. And yeah, just, I wanted to relax with a nice, easygoing game. Even though it's not easy, it is still easygoing. It's not the most difficult game either. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle. It's like, it's a pleasant way of passing time. And yeah, I guess typically I'm in the mood to record a Let's Play when I don't feel like I'm on a roll with my game development. And even though I had that whole thing where I recognized my creative potential as being strongest whenever I'm not really caring about what I'm making as much in the long term, like just being able to make stuff as I go, not... well, just having fun, basically. And the just have fun mentality has certainly been helpful, but it's not something that I've been able to focus on that much lately because school has been busy lately, busier than it has been for a while. So, yeah. I just sort of feel like whenever I have a break, if it's not a big enough break to work on something significant with my game, then I'd rather do something else, something more chill. Such as play a silly game. And this would be another song that I didn't hear my first time beating the game because, again, I had the sound turned off. But this one's pretty straight boppin' too, because it's very Mega Man-esque. I would have to say, I already said in the Twilight Princess LP that I played Shovel Knight and wasn't really the biggest fan, and part of my reason for saying that was I'm not really the biggest fan of the NES, and a game that could be considered sort of like the best NES game out there is not really that much of a grabbing factor for someone like me, because, oh, well, the best game on a game that doesn't have very many good games to me is... it doesn't feel like that much of an accomplishment or something. But I would consider this game, in my eyes, kind of like the best NES game out there, even though it doesn't look like one. But again, that is just me, and I recognize that I have some weird opinions. I kind of like this part, with these bats circling around. These kind of look like Cat Bat? Maybe they don't look that much like Cat Bat, but that's a game by someone named Ryumi, and I guess we'll go with the umbrella. The umbrella has been usually a happy thing, but not always. Well, never mind. I should hopefully still be able to beat the boss, though. The boss is pretty easy. The final boss is really easy, and I'm kind of ashamed that I died to it the first time that I played. Although, to be fair, the boss, once you reach it, it shows up very suddenly, so you might just run into it by accident and die immediately, which is what happened to me. I'm impressed with myself for not coughing during all this, because... well, maybe I did cough a little bit. I haven't coughed much, though. I've been having some serious barking fits lately. Yeah. I don't really know what I was saying. Just something about the umbrella and items and upgrades and... Gotta appreciate how in the final stage you can pick whatever upgrade you want. Careful with the seaweed laser. Kelp me, kelp me. Careful you don't have any hits. Okay, this is... I don't understand my brain sometimes and the way that it connects various different thoughts, but I was thinking about dogs, because this is a game about dogs, and then I thought about dog treats, and then I was thinking about various foods that I've had that in my mind sort of taste like dog treats, and how I sort of like them. So, to explain that a little bit more, there's what are they called? There's like these TGI Fridays chips that I cannot remember what they're called, but in my mind, for some reason they taste the way that dog treats smell, but I still really like the way that they taste. And then I've also had these sort of wafer cookie things lately that, to me, taste... They have the consistency that I would expect a dog treat to have, but I also like the way that they taste. Just their texture. So... it's sort of... Man, okay, there's a cough. It sort of makes me wonder if I would like dog treats, and I'm not gonna try them, but it's just a weird thing to think about anyway. I would imagine the dog treats are not particularly healthy for human beings. Unless they are. I mean, I would imagine if they're healthy for dogs, then they can't be awful for human beings. But I don't know how healthy they are for dogs either. Okay, I'm gonna go with... yeah. Despite it being a little bit more difficult to control the white bone weapon, I think you do kind of technically have the most control over it, because the bones throw farther if you move more. Move faster. Move faster, Pokey. Referring to the Pokies that are these pokey, spiky enemies. I was hoping that would time out a little bit better. Sometimes things don't time out as well as I would like in these levels, because I'm pretty sure every time you go through a stage, just the way that things load onto the screen loads a little bit differently every time, so sometimes the bullets shot by cannons might sync up a little bit differently or something. I don't think the levels are ever impossible to get through without getting hit, it's just... sometimes it's more difficult. Do-do-do-do. Okay, I'm gonna be really careful this time. Hopefully. I might not actually be careful, we'll have to see. Because I could just be saying that, and then... the fact that I'm talking will screw me up completely. A talking dog. How about that? Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that when Pixar finally made a movie with talking dogs, which is a pretty common thing among Disney movies, that they didn't actually make the dogs talk, they just had barking or thought-to-speech callers. Because that's something that's kind of excellent about Pixar, is they always do something a little bit different from the norm. Or at least generally they do, I guess not always. Because frickin' Brave was the most safe movie that they've ever made. I think Brave might have to be my least favorite Pixar movie. It might be Cars 2. It's hard to say. It's hard to pick between the two, because even though I've only seen Cars 2 once, I recognize it as having more uniqueness to it. Man, why am I flubbing this up? I better not die, because then I'll have to record all this again. Or maybe I won't record it again, I'll just get to the final level again. And then feel terrible about it. But I probably shouldn't, because it's already 4 o'clock. We'll see. Yeah, Cars 2 and Brave. for sure my lowest two. Although, on that subject, recently... Recently, there was this March Madness Disney bracket thing, where it was a trend to take a whole bunch of Disney movies that were on this big bracket and, like, fend them off against each other, and you pick which one is your favorite out of two, and then you whittle your way down to one, ultimately the best Disney or Pixar movie. And I handled mine a little bit differently from most, and in a potentially controversial way. I'm surprised that no one really complained about my choices. But the first thing I did was most of the... Well, there was a Disney side and a Pixar side, and on the Disney side, there were a whole bunch of Disney Renaissance movies. I didn't know what that term meant, the Disney Renaissance, but apparently that refers to the term of, like, when the traditional animation was more fluid, and that's with movies like Aladdin and Hercules and Beauty and the Beast and all that. And for the most part, I don't really feel like those stand out as much as their older movies or their newer ones. Something about the Disney Renaissance era is just, I don't know, it's kind of bland to me. So I just removed almost all of those, with the exception of Beauty and the Beast, because I do like that one, and just replaced them with older movies like 101 Dalmatians, and The Great Mouse Detective, and stuff like that. Well, actually, no, The Great Mouse Detective does not count. That probably counts as a Disney Renaissance movie, but that's another one that I actually like. Most of my picks were older things, though. Peter Pan, Robin Hood, all that jazz. Yeah. So, Final Boss just appears. Didn't prepare for that. It only takes 3 hits. That's all I need. Okay. But the other decision that I made was on the Pixar side. Like, the controversial decision was I picked Cars 3 over Coco. And I know that Coco is, like... It feels like everyone's considering that Pixar's best movie ever now. Maybe that's not really true. I know that critics said that Coco felt kind of familiar and isn't necessarily Pixar's finest, but it is a very good movie. And very impressive, and has great reviews. High Rotten Tomatoes score, but... I don't know. In my opinion, Disney movies generally feel rather different from Pixar movies, and I prefer the way that Pixar movies feel, because I feel like Disney movies are kind of samey somehow, and Coco to me did not feel like a Pixar movie, it felt straight up like a Disney movie. And it's very difficult to explain why. Now I think that red bone was serving me pretty well, so I'm going to use that again. I've never picked the regular glasses, the not sunglasses, the moon glasses, so I don't know what kind of secrets there are around here, but I assume that there's nothing too fancy that would warrant, like, extensive exploration. But yeah, I just honestly liked Cars 3 more than Coco. I did like Coco. I didn't have anything wrong with the movie, it's just that I found Cars 3 more... It had more of a personal attachment to me, I guess. I found it was more special and had a more interesting message, when Coco to me just felt like a movie. Sort of like any other movie. I wouldn't say the story was predictable, but the general feel of it didn't feel all that different to me from other movies. And there we go. Now I know that this game has a bad ending. I don't know how to get it. Maybe you just skip over the dog here. I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to bother with it right now. I just know that that's one of the achievements, is that there's a bad dog achievement for an alternate ending. So yeah, there's Super Jagua. I can't say that I'm too impressed with Super Jagua's girlfriend there in terms of appearance, but we're not playing whatever that judgmental game is called. I really don't recall. So, it doesn't matter. But yeah, whatever. That commentary went all over the place, but I'm much more pleased with how it turned out this time than the last time I attempted this. Now these credits go on for a little while. Not too long. But I'll have to think of more to say, because generally I don't know. I've been enjoying my exploration of obscure games, even though a lot of them have not been very good. Even seeing a lot of games that aren't the greatest is kind of an enlightening experience in its own way, because you learn things from just different experiences. So even the games that I've disliked, I'm like, oh, that's why I dislike it. Or I really like what they did here, even though I'm not so sure about the rest. And it kind of... Well, another reason that I'm doing this is I feel like it's going to kind of expand my creative horizons a little bit, because the motivations that people have whenever they're making a game that they kind of don't expect anyone to play are a little bit different from when people make games that they're hoping everyone will play or expecting everyone will play. Because whenever you're trying to appeal to a very large audience, there are certain decisions that you're going to make that are more like appeasing the general audience. Maybe appeasing isn't the right word, but there's an extent to which you don't want to take risks. But with games like this, I feel like there is some risk in making a game where there is no save feature, because that's not something that we've seen in a very long time in games. Or at least it's very uncommon. So I think it's neat that this game went the full mile doing what it wanted to do. And it might not be the most original game, but like I say, originality is overrated, and I think that this game did enough that was inspired in its own way. I feel like it's a nice game. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to spend $1. And I believe there's a nice little sweet thing at the end of these credits. Space Dog. What a fitting name for a beta tester. Beta testers 4:35 a.m. Was that just... I don't know if that's a joke or if that was someone's name. But okay. In memory of Matu, the real Super Jagua. He dedicated the game to his real dog. There's a picture. It's just sweet. This game had heart put into it. I like it. So even though it's not perfect, close enough. So thank you all for watching my playthrough of Super Jagua, one of the very few playthroughs that exist of this game ever, and I will see you in whatever we do next. Take care, everyone.